Hello and welcome to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton and we come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on this hot and roasty Saturday on AM 590, The Answer. Are these the craziest times you have ever seen in your whole life? Now, I'm usually a warrior, a fighter, a survivor, but I don't know about you. It's starting to get to me. When it hits 113 degrees here, it's 118 where my sister-in-law lives, going on to 121, and you think, what is going on here? Let's face it. There's no other way to say it. These are hard times. We have searing heat. We have social distancing. I am so fed up with that mask on my nose when it's 112 degrees out. And the pandemic, we had this last 2 weeks have been very, very hard on my personal family. We've had 3 deaths affect our family. One of them was due to COVID. And it is very, very sobering. I'm one of these people that usually, I'm tough as nails. Things don't slow me down too much. You do what you have to do, but I'm not all that vulnerable to illness. So I figure, okay, I can keep going. But when you see this impact your personal family, it does get to you. And the number of places of unemployment and businesses shut down. I went by Tyler Mall, and it's just tragic, absolutely tragic to see Tyler Mall look like a war zone, absolutely empty out there. And now we're preparing for our kids to not go back to school. I have a niece that's a teacher, and they're preparing kindergartners and first graders to go online and do online learning. And I say to myself, this is historic. This is truly historic. It's one of those times in our lives we will look back and realize that it will either make us or break us, that we'll either survive it and come out stronger than ever, or we will be broken forever. Because when you start putting very small children online, I get that technology isn't good or bad, and we need to put our kids online because that is the way of the future. But when they're only 5 or 6, let me tell you, they are not going to want to go offline just because school's over, I guarantee you. So how do we teach them? How do we prepare for this? How do we adapt to all the changes that is going on? I wanted to title this particular show, When Character Matters. And I want to talk about that a little bit because if you're going to have a child online, they need to have character or they shouldn't be there. And I don't know if you have a lot of character at 5 or 6. You're still trying to figure out who you are, and you have another 5, 6, 7, 8 years to go, maybe a lot more than that before you know. So one of the problems is that we are putting young people online without defining the danger for them, but more important, without being able to help them understand true character. And I think that this is really, really important. Because of the deaths that we've had in our family in the last couple of weeks, I've really been thinking a lot about character. I've known some amazing people. I am just so fortunate in my life to have been connected to so many winners, so many people that are strength statues of character, people that I look up to, people I admire, people I can trust, people I can believe in, people that I want to be like. And I look at my life and I'm so grateful to have known so many incredibly fine individuals. By the way, some of them are right here at this radio station, AM 590, The Answer. I want to just do a shout out. He doesn't get a lot of recognition, but Dan Gilchrist, working through all kinds of hardship. We're doing this remotely. He's doing it remotely. It's hot out there. We're trying to everybody keep everything going. I went over to SIB today. That's where I report. As many of you know, this show is brought to you by Million Kids, Million, not a million, not 1 million, just simply 1millionkids.org. And we are the training and outreach coordinator for the Riverside County Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. Now, the Human Trafficking Task Force in Riverside is just incredibly amazing. By the way, so are they over in San Bernardino. I want to give a shout out there to Sergeant O'Brien and all of his people. But I happen to report to the ones in Riverside, so I'm a little prejudiced, but I enjoy working with both of them. But I went over there today. Now it's 113 degrees out, and I went over there, and there they all are. Everybody doing what they need to do to keep your kids safe from predators, working online, developing cases, trying to find those pedophiles that are trying to reach out to your kids, trying to find those pimps that are seducing your daughters in on dating sites, and being able to go out and get those people. I happen to report to Sergeant John Sawyer, and I'm proud as I can be to report to him. He's been my boss now for about 7-8 years. And we have had just a tremendous relationship because I admire that team of men and women. We now have additional ones out in the desert. Holy cow, it's got to be 121 out there. How do you go after any bad guy? I don't know. But as I went in today, they're all working. They're all working the cases. They're all doing what they have to do to protect your kids. And I look at that stuff on TV with all the tearing down the statues and burning the places and throwing bricks through glass. And I think you guys have no understanding what character is. I'll tell you what character is. It's when I see men and women in extreme conditions, when there's high unemployment, when there's COVID out there, when their lives are upside down, when their family is in isolation, when some of them are being cut back, and when it's extremely hot, you have people with character that care more about other people's needs than their own personal wants. And that is character. I also wanted to share with you about the character of a man I met many, many years ago, actually over 50 years ago. Well, I don't want to say that because now you know how old I am. But I met him when I first came to California. I wasn't raised here. I was raised in the Midwest. My mom always said I got my first tricycle and went for the border. Me and Dodo, we're not in Kansas anymore, baby. But anyway, my mom said I was 6 years old, and somebody said, "What do you want to be?" And I said, "A Californian." God knows why now when you look at the taxes and the craziness that's going on out here. But I am a Californian. But I came to California with very little money and a lot of starry-eyed ideas. And I met a man by the name of Reverend Hulls. I think everybody else calls him Pastor Dick Hulls, but I call him Reverend Hulls. And this has been many years ago. And I talked to him because I was about to make some really stupid decisions. You know, a young girl in their late teens coming to California and wanting to have it all. And I almost immediately fell into a wrong crowd. And I knew I didn't want that for myself. And I sought him out. They had a thing called dial-a-prayer in those days. And I sought him out and I sat with him. And he came in on a Saturday evening and sat and talked with me and helped me walk through what character meant. That every time you do what's right instead of what's easy, you get character. I could have so easily gone off the deep end that night. And yet I knew in my heart I wanted to be a person of character. And one of the things that we have to understand is that character is not a fast and slick process. Character is how you build a person of strength one brick at a time, one decision at a time. I remember a victim of sex trafficking who once said that her boyfriend wanted her to do something. And she said, "I'll do this because I really liked him and I would have done anything." And she said, "I'll do this, but I won't do that." And pretty soon it got worse. And she said, "I'll do this, but I won't do that." And then she was deep into sex trafficking, having multiple partners a night. And she said, "I'll do this, but I won't do that." And one day she said to herself, "There's no more that." And that is how you do not build character. Every time you do what's right instead of what's easy, you build character. Why is that so important? Because we are putting small children on an adult device where they are going to meet people you will never invite into your living room, and you are going to ask them to make adult cognitive decisions on whether or not they're going to engage with them. And if that child does not understand character, we're all going to have a problem on our hands and a child whose life will be changed forever. My name is Opal Singleton, and this show is called Exploited Crimes and Technology. We are up against a break. We will be right back.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, there are many good restaurants in the Inland Empire, but really great restaurants are hard to find. Let me tell you about the Toasted Barrel in Corona. It's a trendy, upscale steakhouse with great pasta and seafood. It's a fantastic choice for birthdays and anniversaries or just that special night out with your loved one and friends. Inland Empire magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant and Brunch for the past 3 years. The owners, Ed and Shirley, are friendly and attentive to your needs. If you're a prime rib connoisseur, this place is for you. Go ahead and try it out. The Toasted Barrel, located at 1300 El Sobrante Road in Corona. Or Google them at Toasted Barrel to make reservations. I guarantee you, you're going to love it. Be sure and tell Ed and Shirley that Opal sent you. It will be a night you'll never forget.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. My name is Opal Singleton. We are part of Million Kids and part of the Riverside County Human Trafficking Task Force. And so I really want to explore this concept of character. I've been giving it a lot of thought in my life. I will say that there have been few times in my life that has been as difficult as the last probably 4 to 5 months. My life has changed absolutely dramatically, and I'm sure that yours has also. I came back from making a presentation on March 12th, and it was a successful presentation, and I had no understanding that that would be the last personal presentation that I would make for many months. Part of the discussion about character was that we had wanted to fund a documentary, and we had partnered with someone who has helped us find the funding. That group is actually funding the film, and I'm in funding the documentary based on people assisting us. We decided to go ahead and fund that documentary because if we have no other mission in our life, it is to educate the world about how the internet works. And so it has been an exciting and interesting and challenging time over these last few months as we sit here in isolation and heat and watch all the political infighting, and we say to ourselves, what is important? How do we stay on focus? How do we reach the right people? And for that, I'm deeply grateful for this radio show, because without this radio show, we can't do public presentations. So we are grateful for our relationship, and we are grateful for you. Every time I get an email, which you can send, by the way, to Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. I've started to get a lot of emails of people who are listening that are saying it makes all the difference in the world to them right now that we have decided to hang in there, even though it is our most difficult time of our life, because we have more cases right now. On average now, I'm averaging 2 cases a day of various kinds of either sex trafficking, sextortion, social media exploitation, or child pornography. And, the challenge is great because so many kids are online, and parents and grandparents are saying, I don't know how to help them. I admire those parents and grandparents for taking a look at that and reaching out and asking for assistance. Now, meeting all that demand without a lot of income is a challenge because we don't have the ability to go out and make live presentations anymore. And we can't sell too many books, although the books are selling pretty good now from the radio shows. So that's good. As I look at and think about the cases that have come to me, I think I have come to understand that there are 2 kinds of people in the world, those that give and those that take. And I think that this is an important concept, mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, as you're raising your children. It is not enough to have happy children. Teach your children to be leaders and teach them to be givers. What I find are the people that I admire the most in my life, and there are many of them, they have spent their lives giving to other people. And then there are those that take. And it's a fascinating thing because givers seem like they can't give enough, and takers seem like they can't get enough. And I can tell the difference that the givers are so much more happy than the takers. This is a fascinating thing as we look at our lives. It seems like whenever there's a death in a family, any family, one of the first things that happens is there's a hallelujah trail to get their hands on the inheritance. What do I get? Give me, give me, give me, give me. So-and-so got more than me. So-and-so owes me. They got the jewelry. Who got this? Who got that? This is mine. I deserve it. I earned it. And it's a fascinating thing as families deteriorate. I've known families over the years. I've known families who have gotten through inheritances and they are closer than ever. And they're beautiful people. Absolutely beautiful people. I was very fortunate in my marriage before my husband passed away. His family was like that, where they get in and they take care of each other. I remember as we were beginning to divide up my mother-in-law's things, my mother-in-law was still alive. She watched it. She wanted to be part of it. And we orchestrated that. And we all agreed there is nothing in this room worth losing each other over. And we developed a system of, if both of us wanted it, we put it in this pile. And if all 3 of us wanted it, it went in that pile. And if nobody wanted it, it went to the grandkids at the dump. Okay, but Grandma, my mother-in-law, had a great time watching us as we took care of each other during the dividing of the goods. But it isn't always that way. What I find are people who are takers will never, ever be happy, and they will never have enough. They will always be victims. You see, in working with trafficking, I find that there are warriors who are proud of who they are and what they stand for, and they don't take shortcuts and they don't take, chances on the internet, and they are leaders. And then there's perma victims. People, whenever you meet them, you can see it coming. Oh, poor me. If it weren't for bad luck, there'd be no luck at all. Everybody in my life has taken advantage of me, and I'm always losing. And when you see people like that, run for your life, because you will never be able to fix it. Whenever you find people that literally are constant takers, you find people that never develop that strength of character. That thing of pride of earning and being independent and knowing what you stand for and knowing that you're a loved child of God. I believe that that is absolutely critical that we understand that. If we want to raise a child that doesn't take chances on the internet, sit and talk with them about character and why character matters. Why is that? Your child, your 6-year-old, your 9-year-old, your 11-year-old, before they ever go through puberty, before they ever get a sexual identity or a moral identity, is going to meet a pedophile. They will. They're online. If they're on an app like TikTok where they have 1 million likes, they're going to meet 10,000 of them, or at least 5,000. And every one of those guys are going to say to this kid, hey, you are talented, you're beautiful, meet me on Instagram, send me more of those videos. Baby, I'm going to make you famous. You don't have to do anything. I will give it all to you. And that child will succumb because they don't have strength of character to understand that whenever you do what's right instead of what's easy, you get stronger. When you try to take a shortcut and you take money, you do a Snapchat. That's so many kids are doing that now. They do a Snapcash. Did you know? Look up Snapcash, Mom and Dad. Now, make money selling nudes on Snapcash. Did you know that's out there? It's amateur pornography where our kids are stripping on Snapchat, sending it through Snapcash because they want to be famous. They think they're hot, and after all, they can make a little money. But they have given away their character. And it will be very difficult to ever recover that character. Once a naked photo goes online, what we're doing is making a documentary. Where do naked photos go when you hit send? Have you ever thought about that? You see, our kids think of it as the U.S. rights to privacy, but it's not called the U.S. web. It's called the World Wide Web. And once that photo is out there, your character will be damaged. Can you rebuild it? Yes. But isn't it more important that your child learn to be a giver, that they learn to be a leader, that they learn to recognize when someone wants them to break their moral code and they don't participate, when they want to look out for their younger brother and sister, and when they want to do what's right versus what's easy? Because the world is full of victims that are easy to exploit. I deal with them all day, every day, of people that just want to be loved. They want money that isn't their money. They want to be able to take a shortcut to become famous or to be recognized. They want to be accepted, or they're just bored. And they don't realize that when they decide to send off that naked photo, that they have given away a piece of their soul. You see, sex is the only bodily function connected to the soul. And once that photo is out there, it will change who you are for the rest of your life. So I encourage you to talk to your kids about why character matters before they ever pick up their first cell phone. And let's talk about it in detail. This is Opal Singleton, and the show is Exploited Crimes and Technology. Be right back. Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced: The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer. Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about when character matters. And I'll tell you, I cannot imagine a time in all of our society and all of history when character mattered more than any other time. And the reason for that is that your children are going to be exposed to strangers younger than any generation in the world. On top of it, you'll often hear me say this generation will have more information provided to them than any previous generation, but they will have less truth. And that is an important discussion when you're talking about character, because it is very much a slippery slope. I want to talk a little bit about truth, and I want to talk a little bit about teen pornography addiction and character. You see, one of the things that's happening here is it's election year. And everything is being done online because of the COVID thing. This is historic time. And so you have huge amounts of information that is constantly being fed to you. But it's partial truths. It's a little bit of truth to make you want to be on their side or this side. And everybody can distort what they want to say. I may regret saying this on the air, but one of the things that just really fascinates me is we are teaching our children that because someone made a mistake in Minneapolis, that it is okay to go to Riverside, California and burn buildings and throw bottles through them because that person has suffered an injustice. And I say, really? Because what happened in Minnesota does not define my character. I'm going to have moral values, regardless of the fact there are people in the world committing crimes and making mistakes. There is nothing different about the people committing crimes and making mistakes, except now it is televised, it is packaged, it is politicized, and it is spoon-fed to our children with a bias. And they want to justify what is illegal behavior. We are redefining the truth all over the place in this society. And I'm going to tell you, it will cost us our democracy regardless of which political side you're on. This is an important discussion with your child before you put them online, because they are going to have a lot of people influence them. One of the things that just fries me is when a political person, I don't care if they're Democrat or Republican or Unitarian, okay? I don't care who they are. A political person makes a speech and then another person comes on and tells me what I heard. Hello? Am I deaf? I'm very capable of understanding what I heard, but I'm also very capable of Googling and researching and Firefoxing and all the others and reading multiple opinions on it so that I am informed. But our kids do not learn that. Why is that an important discussion? Because we are redefining the sexual relationship for our kids. And why does this matter? It is that redefinition of sexual relationships that lures our kids into sending a naked photo or sharing pornography online with people they have never met, which is happening in a big way. If you've never heard of TikTok Thought, I recommend that you look at it, but not with your children in the room. By the way, that is spelled T-H-O-T, TikTok Thought. Now, TikTok's not a bad app if you're an adult and you have adult reasoning and you understand that you're talking to 1 million people, and some of those people are really not nice guys. And in fact, some of them are the registered sex offender that not only lives down the street from you, but might be from Detroit. This is a world without borders and a home without walls. That is the name of my book. If you want to buy it, by the way, you can go to millionkids.org and buy that book. But why is this so important? Because look at all these video games. Sex is a weapon. You get a score for it. You actually pay money to have virtual sex with a virtual prostitute so you can get your real money back, okay, and get your score up. And you say, well, it wasn't really sex. That's what kids will tell you. I get it. It wasn't really sex, except why'd you just pay $50 for it? You know, I get the killing isn't killing, but they're killing cops, and it's okay. In these shows. I'm going to tell you, there's not a game in the world that I would be willing to have my kid play where they kill a cop. There's something called digital morality, and it is that morality, whether it is digital or live, that literally defines your child's character, that makes your child stand above the rest, that makes your child so they're not easy prey for a predator. Because if they are willing to take those shortcuts, they are going to be violated online. It is that simple. You see, what is happening now, you know how pedophiles work to get little kids to send their photo? They'll meet up in the clear web. Sometimes they go in the dark web. Sometimes they just use virtual private network and some other terminology I'm not going to share with you, where they form large-scale communities to trick your child. Your child thinks they're talking to somebody special, and your child falls in love. That's the reason I wrote the book Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. Your child gets a fantasy relationship, and that person makes them feel special. And they will show them videos, because your child's probably not even gone through puberty. And they will show them videos of how other kids please this person. And think about 9, 10, 7, 8-year-old kids. They want to please. And guess what? We're putting them on there now. They're 5 and 6. And they want to please. They just want to please the man on the other end. That's what 7-year-olds do. And what will happen in that is they will be told it's okay. Everybody's doing it. See, this girl did it, and this is what I want you to do. That child probably has no understanding. They just think it's funny, and they want to please the man, and off they go. Before they ever go through puberty, before they ever understand the word character, they will be violated. It is important to understand and help your child that they understand that they are not going to be a people pleaser. They're not going to take shortcuts. They're not going to try to earn some extra money. And it is not healthy to look at pornography very young and even in your early days of puberty. This is really where character sets in. I had a young man. He's a couple years ago, so he's a little bit older now. He was the cutest thing I ever saw in my life. Young man out of, I won't say where, but here in Riverside County, and he was cute. And he came up to me after I spoke in his school, because back in the old days, like before March 12th, I spoke in schools a lot, okay? He came up to me and he said, Miss Singleton, have you ever played Game of War? And I said, well, no, I haven't played it, but I've seen all the trailers, you know. I do the Twitch. By the way, I twitched and tweeted this week because I'm getting better. Anyway, I know about it. He said, that game is raunchy. I said, really? You playing that game? He's 14. I said, you playing that game? He goes, yeah, it's really bad. I go, really? He said, yeah. I said, well, do you play that game every day? And he goes, yeah, pretty much. You know, I said, well, are you addicted to it? And he goes, I don't know. And I said, well, are you going to give it up? And he goes, no, I don't think so. And I said, well, then you're addicted to it. And he goes, yeah, well, it's really raunchy. And I love this kid because he was trying to analyze his character. After I talked in his classroom, he realized, I am doing something that will not make me a better person. And in fact, just like the girl who said one day, there is no more that, when we start showing pornography to our children, even in video gaming, and they get points for participating in it, and they're sharing it with somebody in a chat room, and it's live stream, and your other kids, younger kids, can see it, it will be taken as if it is norm. And your child's character has just got a few chinks in it, is what I'm trying to say, some chinks in the armor of your child's character. And it will begin to erode. And it's a very slippery slope. Character is what keeps your child from exploiting others. Did you know that the amount of kids being exploited under the age of 12 is up by 39% of older teenagers exploiting younger teenagers? We believe it has to do with video gaming with all the pornography, but I'm going to tell you that I don't have research, so I'm not going to say that's true. But it's all very acceptable because it's animated. Do you know when you Google the term teen porn games, you get over 200 million search words on it? We need to take a look at what our kids are doing online in their video game. Get yourself an avatar, Dad. This is Opal Singleton. We're up against that break, so we'll be right back.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Hey, there are many good restaurants in the Inland Empire, but really great restaurants are hard to find. Let me tell you about the Toasted Barrel in Corona. It's a trendy, upscale steakhouse with great pasta and seafood. It's a fantastic choice for birthdays and anniversaries or just that special night out with your loved one and friends. Inland Empire magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant and Brunch for the past 3 years. The owners, Ed and Shirley, are friendly and attentive to your needs. If you're a prime rib connoisseur, this place is for you. Go ahead and try it out. The Toasted Barrel, located at 1300 El Sobrante Road in Corona. Or Google them at Toasted Barrel to make reservations. I guarantee you, you're going to love it. Be sure and tell Ed and Shirley that Opal sent you. It will be a night you'll never forget.
Nothing beats the services offered by Strike a Pose in Covina. From weddings, anniversaries, pregnancies, family heritage photos, or professional headshots for business cards and publicity, Jamie and Steve will do your makeup, get the perfect lighting and pose, and edit them so you look your best. These folks are the best in the business. Go online to strikeapose.net and make an appointment today.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton and we are talking about character. I tell you what, it takes character to survive through this. These are the craziest days I've ever seen. I do want to take a minute and give a big shout out to the people that have come alongside of us. Thank you, BMW of Riverside, for being so loyal to us. Thank you, Doris Anderson. Thank you, Colleen Horgan. Thank you to all the donors out there that are supporting Million Kids. I want to give a big shout out to the Steve Lester family over in Rancho Cucamonga this week. Steve passed away. I didn't know him personally, but several people told me about his life. And he was a man of character. He was a man who fought a valiant battle with cancer, as it was in the end. And several people over there in Rancho Cucamonga that knew Steve and Shirley Lester made donations in his name as a memorial. And I just want to say thank you so much to the Lester family for remembering us. Even in his death, he did some giving. He said, don't bother with flowers. Let's keep kids safe from predators. How amazing that is. Every now and then, by the way, we see this on our Facebook page. Million Kids has an incredible Facebook page. And if you follow us, I'd really appreciate it if you'd follow us, first of all. Just go to Facebook. I am not a fan of Facebook, by the way. But we have a great Facebook page, and we post all the local cases on there and all about the technology. But every now and then we get somebody who has a birthday, and instead of gimme, 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 they request that donations be made in honor of their birthday on Million Kids' Facebook site. And for those of you that have done that, especially in these times, Our net worth has never been so little in our whole life. I will honestly say that. It is the most challenging time because we can't go out and make presentation. I believe in earning my own way. I'm one of those people that say, don't give it to me. I am not a taker. I want to give what anybody else gives and give it back out. And that is what we do. And lately, we've been doing a lot of that because there's a huge need. But what a privilege to be amongst a group of givers. People like Steve Lester, who even in his last acts wanted to support our cause. I thank each and every person who goes to Million Kids and hits that donate button, who literally says, I'm going to be a leader, I'm going to be a giver. I can't help those takers in the world. Many of them are victims, and yes, I can help them with victim services, and I can help them get psychological counseling. What I find is when a person transitions from victim to warrior, they are so much happier. And they're such a better caliber of person. And many people never understood the difference between being victim and warrior, between being a giver or a taker. But what I find is that when you no longer are a taker and you are a giver, that your happiness ratio goes way up. Now, I'm going to say these are hard times, and it's hard to be a giver right now. I get it. None of us know if we're ever going to have enough again. None of us know if we're ever going to go back to work again. None of us know if I'm ever going to get to make a live speech or sell books. Who knows whether I'll ever get to do that or not. In the meantime, praise God for Zoom. Zoom and Skype and Twitch, I'm getting good at it, okay? And we are moving on. We're hanging in there, and we are literally serving clients, parents mostly, in ways that we never dreamed possible. And I thank you so much for those people who have character, people like the Riverside County Task Force, people like all these victim service providers out here in Riverside County, Operation Safe House of the Desert, CASA out in Hemet. Amazing, amazing people. I'm grateful. Children's Fund over in San Bernardino, just incredible people that care deeply about your community. People like San Manuel that support our work. People like BMW that come along and help us. People like Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. People who care deeply about the kids in their community. There are so many of you that I can't answer which ones, but I do want you to know that you make a difference. I think as we begin to put our kids online, we need to step back. As we move into the political and election season and the intensity of the stuff going on out there, I'm trying to think of a Christian word. Anyway, the intensity of what's going on out there is going to get worse. This is the time to set your child down and say, you get a choice. Look at yourself in the mirror. Are you proud of who you are and what you stand for? Are you a loved child of God that will lead others? And that you are too good to send a naked photo. You don't need 1 million likes to know that you're a valuable person. All you have to do is say what matters to me when my life is said and done is to say I was a giver. I was a person of character. I am so grateful. I've known a lot of really great people in my life. I've known a few that weren't so great. But I want to choose to concentrate on the ones that were great. I believe in them, and they believed in me. And that is just the most powerful thing we can give our children in the world. In fact, we sell I Believe in You bracelets online. I believe that is the 4 most powerful words on earth. I believe in you. And as long as you have people, some of which I lost this week, people who believed in me, people who had come alongside, who were prayer warriors for us, people in my family that passed away, that believed in me. I miss them, but I will always hang on to them, that they were people that were there for me. They didn't take, they didn't demand. They were people who said, when the chips are down, I'm going to be there for you. We get to decide, and what is really, really important is that we need to teach our children the difference. It is not enough to raise a happy child. Your child is going to live in a world without borders and a home without walls. They will be accessed by more people than any other generation in history. If there was ever a time to talk to our children about strength of character, don't send that naked photo. Don't take that quick and easy money. Don't try to do that Snapchat kind of thing where you're going to be discovered and you're going to be recognized for your twerking. Don't take those roads because there's such a higher road. If there's ever a generation that we need for leadership, it is this generation right now. And it is the most important conversation you can ever have with your child. My name is Opal Singleton. This organization is called Million Kids, MILLION, millionkids.org. I want to thank everyone who keeps us on the air. I want to thank the folks at AM 590. I want to thank all the people who send their donations. Some of them send $25, $30 every month. They just put us on recurring. And we just set up PayPal for that, by the way. It was a little bit cheaper than what we already had. And we're trying to cut corners everywhere we can to survive this crisis. But I want to say that this is an important time. Yes, living through the heat's hard. Wearing that face mask is miserable, okay? I'm so tired of social distancing. I just want to go out and do my thing. And I want the heat to go away, and I want the employment to come back. But more than anything else, I want to embrace the love of those people who have passed away in my life over the last week or two and let them know you're my heroes. You're the people that helped me understand what was important. And I hope that I can share that with others. I don't want to be a taker. I haven't met a happy taker in my life. I've never met a happy victim. Have I never met a taker who ever got enough? And when they get it, they just want more, and it will never make them happy. But I'm proud of the folks that I know in my life and my family that passed away this week. They were givers. They were people I admire. They were people who supported other people. And when all is said and done, that's really all that matters. And if there's ever a time we need to sit down with our kids, talk about if you have a child and they have a grandma or grandpa that gives to them, set your child down and say, did you know that grandma's a giver? Every time you see her, she's got something she's trying to give you. And what she's really trying to teach you is you're going to be much happier if you're a giver, not a taker. So while you take something, every time you take something, learn to give something back. That is how you build character. This is Opal Singleton, and the show is called Exploited Crimes and Technology, brought to you by millionkids.org. Please go to millionkids.org. Hit that donate button. I'd appreciate it. Send us a check. Or you can write to me at Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. Put your arms around your family this week while you have them. Give them a big hug and have a great week. See you next Saturday, 3 o'clock.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the darknet will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology, coming to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer. Hey, I want to tell you about one of my heroes, Doris Anderson. She's a realtor over at Remax Realty in Upland. Her phone number, 951-733-8899. Doris has pledged $500 from every house she closes. There's a woman who supports an important cause.